Hey guys, so I just wanted to give you something to watch while you're waiting for my next set of video game remixes. And since I'm such a huge fan of the SEGA Mega Drive, or the Genesis as it's called in the US, I thought I should give you my top 10 SEGA Mega Drive games. I'm High209, and this is my top 10 SEGA Mega Drive games. Number 10. Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck in World of Illusion. This is the sequel to Castle Evolution, one of the first games I ever played on the system, and it's very endearing adventure with Mickey and Donald. They travel around this magical world, loosely based on Disney feature films such as The Little Mermaid and Alice in Wonderland and other stuff. It's just packed with neat little details, such as the sunken ship from The Little Mermaid, the intro scene with the shark, and I also love the library level where you play this small version of Mickey or Donald running around in the Candyland or in the decoration box, the Christmas box, and stuff like that, jumping on books. I always thought that was a very creative and fantastical idea of a level. I usually play this game around Christmas almost every year. It brings back a lot of memories. Number 9. Donald Duck in Maui Mallard. Okay, so this is a really cool platformer game where you play as Donald Duck, or rather Maui Mallard as he's called in this game. Mostly, I guess, because it takes place in Maui, I guess. And well, there's like some really cool stuff in this game. For the first part, you get to play Donald Duck as a ninja, which is really cool. He has this multi-purpose bow staff that you can use for swinging and climbing and fighting and like everything that you can possibly think of. And the levels are really cool. You start out in this sort of haunted voodoo mansion type of place. And then later on you get sort of like underwater pirates and zombies and stuff. It's actually sort of like if Donald Duck were to visit the universe of Monkey Island, really. It's super cool. Number 8. Eternal Champions. This fighting game is fantastic. I love the character design and the whole concept of like people having died in different time eras and stuff, and their deaths were very untimely and unjust, so they get to fight each other for a second chance at life, really. And I've done lots of remixes of this game, and you might wonder why isn't it placed higher on your list. It's mainly because it's excruciatingly hard. I've only managed to beat this game once, and that was like back in the days, back in the 90s, when I played this game for hours. I probably wouldn't even try to complete this game once more, actually. Number 7. Castlevania New Generation, or Bloodlines as it's called in the US. This is the only Castlevania game on a SEGA console to my knowledge, and it's a fantastic game at that. The European version is a bit censored compared to the US version, but in its essence it's a great platforming game with like really cool stuff. Great level design and fantastic music. the Castlevania games in general are known for the great music, and this is no letdown whatsoever. It's a great game.
Number 6.
Alisia Dragoon. This is a very sort of underrated platform game. I know that Pat the NES Punk reviewed this game, and it's basically a platform game where the main character, she's a magician and she can shoot some sort of thunder beam out of her hands, sort of like an homing thunder beam, so you don't have to select the direction. It targets enemies on the screen, and then you can charge it up for this huge plowing version of it. And you also have these familiars you can select from: a dragon, a griffin, and a small lizard, and some sort of fire spirit. And you get to level up both your character, the character's powers, and your familiar's powers, so you can use them strategically, like a strategic element in boss fights and levels and such, and I really enjoy that. Plus it's sort of like pseudo fantasy science fiction type of setting, so it's really, really cool.
Number 5.
Mania. This is one of the best Disney games ever made, in my opinion. Of course, it's Mickey Mouse again, and this time you get to follow him all back from Steamboat Willie, the first film that he was in, and through sort of like the highlights of his career. This game really made an impact on me back when I was a kid and first played it, and I think one of the main reasons is that the graphics and the music were sort of pushed to the limits of the Sega Mega Drive. Actually, I haven't seen many games where the graphics and the music is this good. And there is a SNES version, but I actually think the music in this version is even better. It's sort of grittier and more up in your face, which I really like. And yeah, it's a fantastic platformer with cool level design, and the enemies are like really funny to watch, and the animation is top notch all through.
Number 4.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Of course, I had to place some Sonic game in here. I like all 4 Sonic games on the Mega Drive, but if I had to select one of them, it would be Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Mostly because I think this is the most complete of the games. It feels like a very cohesive gaming experience from the first level to the last, and I mean the final battle with Robotnik is some of the most epic moments of my gaming memories. So I had to select this game.
Number 3.
Puggsy. This is actually a very overlooked game on the console. It's made by Traveler's Tales, and you play this orange alien who sets down on a planet where the raccoons are in charge. They steal your spaceship, so you have to take it back. And it's actually a very funny, very beautiful looking, very good sounding platform puzzle type of game, where the levels are scattered with items that you can collect and sort of make things with, and it has some sort of physics engine. There's balls that bounce, and there's other stuff like weights that you can carry in air passage and stuff like that. It's also a fantastic soundtrack by one of my big role models in the video game music industry, Matt Furness. And this soundtrack is like one of my absolute favorite soundtracks on the Sega Mega Drive.
Number 2.
Revenge of Shinobi. This is one of the best ninja games there is, period. I love playing this game. The fact that you get to sort of knock Spider-Man and Arnold Schwarzenegger on their ass just makes things so much more enjoyable. It's a solid platformer with sort of this Japanese ninja theme. The goal is for you to rescue your fiancé from this evil ninja master and his clan of thuggish ninjas. And you get to select different powers. You can have sort of this electrical shield, and you can have fire dragons attack the screen, and you can have the power of the wind and jump like really high. And then you have my favorite, you can sort of commit harakiri and explode and then damage everything at the screen. And this is like one of the best power-ups in a game. It actually, you lose one life, but you gain full health. So it's sort of like a checkpoint power-up. But then you have to sacrifice a life to gain health, and it's really useful in boss battles and such. Also great music, fantastic music by another idol of mine, Yuzo Koshiro, one of those guys who've made a lot of solid soundtracks for the system.
Number 1.
Strider. This shouldn't come as a surprise to any of you who have followed me recently. Like last December I released my album Strider, Fall of the Grandmaster. And this is sort of like my favorite game of all time. It was hard to place anything else at the top of this list. I actually think the arcade version of this game is slightly better. But since I played this game firstly on the Mega Drive, I had to place this on the number 1 spot. Me and my brother, we used to rent this game all the time back as kids. And it was a tough game, but we managed to beat it a couple of times. And since then, this is like the only game that I can finish within 25 minutes or so, and it's a great game, fantastic game. You play this cyber ninja type of character, Hiryu, and he's on a mission to assassinate the Grandmaster Mayo, who's plotting to take control of the whole world and sort of destroy it and then rebuild it in the way he sees fits. It's fantastic platform, acrobatic action all the way through. Not a dull moment, really. The only setback is that it's quite short. But, if it would have been any longer, it probably wouldn't have been such a non-stop action journey. Fantastic game. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed my top 10 list. This was my first top 10 list ever. I hope to make some more in the future, maybe on the SNES, the NES and stuff like that, so probably you'll see more of this in the future. So this was my top 10 list. I would really like to know what your favorite 10 Mega Drive games are, so post comments below and give me your top 10. Hopefully you won't have to wait too long for my next remixes, so until then, bye.